start off talking a little bit about what I thought was interesting with the tour. Um, I think that something that was really interesting for me was overall, um, just like how you can intertwine different organizations together is really cool. And like you can really meet the needs, so many needs of someone by making this connection. Um, I guess some of the organizations we talked about for me, um, we specifically talked about Jaffa, which was really interesting because it made me really realize why people are homeless and like how you really don't know people's story and background as to why they're homeless. And I think that that really incorporates acceptance and like empathy. And that's something that we kind of want to start incorporating into our project. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just kind of something that really stuck out to me.
Say, we didn't get to hear a whole lot about the Joppa.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, it was so interesting. Like we watched this whole video and it was just like really eye-opening. And to just really see people in Des Moines, like people that you probably have seen around, like it was just crazy. And it was really eye-opening, to be honest. I don't know. What were kind of organizations that stuck out to you guys while you guys were on your tour?
I really liked listening to Habitat come out. I have worked with Habitat for not for a while now, but I have in the past, and just kind of getting a refresher on how the families actually get their house. That they have to go in and put in their own hours. The restore helps take those profits to help get the building material so their house prices can stay lower. And just I like the idea that you're giving someone actually like a sense of security. They get their house, they get in their welcome basket like a Bible, salt, bread, and a candle or something like that. So they have all of the concepts of home. It's somewhere safe. You'll never run out of food. Things will always have flavor. I really like what they do and how they go about it. That it's not, the guy said it's not a hand or not a handout. It's a hand up. That they're empowering people to help take control of their situations. And I thought that was really interesting, but I also liked a bunch of the other ones too.
Yeah, I thought one of the ones that stuck out to me was St. Vincent. Just because like how they talked about how the warehouse, they don't waste any clothes, like it all gets recycled and sent somewhere. And they also mentioned how like the warehouse was literally the center point of like Des Moines' highest poverty level. It was the central location of poverty in North Des Moines and Des Moines in general.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was really interesting to hear about them like rebuilding the roof, that they added that classroom upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a really cool idea that they have a place where you can have like child watch while you're doing classes to help you either get your high school education or job interviews and stuff like that. Yeah, that was something I had never heard of.
Now that you like mentioned St. Paul, like that made me think about how you had been mentioned about how it's not always a hands down or handout, sorry, but how they were telling us of how they'll help you pay for your utilities and stuff, but they're also thinking ahead, like how are you gonna be figuring out for next month? So they're not just paying for your stuff, like they're really trying to help you out with trying to get you back on your feet. And it's not just, oh, okay, we're gonna pay for this. It's like we want you to really learn from it and like be able to do it yourself eventually. And so I don't know. I think that just kind of made me think of that, and it brought up that. So,
That on your tour today, did you guys go see? It was like the refugee committee on university. I don't remember what it was called.
No.
That was one place that I thought was really cool too. That they had the art therapy pictures on the wall. So like the kids who've been relocated from refugee camps or are just immigrating here that need maybe a little special attention, they would get to sit and draw pictures. And so they're up on the wall still, and you can see different like where they came from. They've got their house now, their family. There are a couple like flags from the countries that they came from. I thought that was really cool to see like a little more of a direct impact. They're helping people here. That was another place that I really liked their project ideas. You're either helping people learn how to take the bus or helping them set up appointments if they have to go to the doctor. And that place, they said that, you've got 90 days from once you're in here to be in their program to help try and get a job, or they get them set up with their housing, and they come off the airplane. The guy said sometimes in shorts and tank top and flip flops. They don't have warm clothes to prepare them for Iowa winters. So I thought that was one that was especially helpful, just because that's Des Moines is trying to welcome people in to help them be in a safer place, and I think that maybe that doesn't get looked at as often as it should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't see it, but we did have people come in and talk about it, so that was really cool. And but yeah, it's really crazy how you don't take in consideration like everything that they need, and the fact that they're willing to take that in consideration is awesome.
And the girl that we talked to when we were there said, that sometimes they only come with not even like a backpack full of stuff. They might have like a grocery sack that's everything they've owned bringing here. That's a lot of things that you don't have to, even to live. You figure that could hold maybe your toothbrush, one spare set of clothes. That's not a lot.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought it was interesting the bus map that they were talking about that got started out of one of these projects, that they're hoping, within like a year or two, that they'll have like a map available that'll be based on landmarks, so you won't have to like need to be able to read English or necessarily even tell time, really. You'll just be able to know the landmark and get to where you're going.
That was a really cool thing.
I thought that was really cool, and it made me really think of one of our readings. I think it's our very first reading, and about listening. So it's just so cool because you don't think you wouldn't think of that, but someone was really listening and paying attention to their needs. So it's crazy. When you're really paying attention, you can really come up with crazy ideas like that. I would have never thought of, but it's like a brilliant idea. When you're really paying attention.
And yeah, they were definitely paying attention for it, but they also found a way to bring about that change. I wouldn't even know how to start either, contacting the head of DART to come up with a new map, but someone did. And I think that's all it takes is one person to figure out what needs to happen and start to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Since you guys said you guys didn't go to Salvation Army, I guess I'll talk a little bit about that. But something I thought was interesting was that they only had 36% coverage for all of the bells this past winter, which is so sad. But I didn't know how easy it is to just volunteer to do stuff like that. But basically they told us that there wasn't enough coverage, and so that really just affects them and how they are going to go about funding stuff. And so I'm just it's just crazy. It's we just need to be informing more people about it. So
one thing that I really liked when we were walking on the tour was getting to see, we went and saw the different places, but when we walked by the Habitat houses, I thought it was cool that you can see stuff in the community that's there, and people are living there now. I thought that was really cool that it's in the community that we know needs help, because we learned that it was like 40% of people in the Riverbend community live below the poverty line, which is way higher than like the 9% that's the Iowans in general are under. It's like knowing that it was just a really good example to see that someone has helped make a difference there. I think they weren't far from that elementary school that we walked by.
It was interesting to learn about that elementary school too.
Mm-hmm.
How like every kid there is on the state food program, and like how Steve is essentially the only reason some of those kids even get breakfast sometimes.
Well, and dinner, and they have that supper club too.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of food to provide for the community.
Yep.
Yeah, that was so crazy. And she was telling us like how many people walk through that red door, and I was like, that's like, it was like, I can't even remember the number, but it was a high number. I was like, can you imagine like how much food they have to provide and just figure out how to get it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is one thing that maybe we want to think about for our project? Are there any that really stuck out that you'd like to do?
The partners?
Yeah.
Probably the Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat. I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And there's 2 projects for that. So we could either do the construction or the restore store, which helps provide money for them to build the houses.
I know construction is fun. I did that for a while there. I'd kind of like to see the other side of it. I never did anything in the restore. Would you guys be interested in that one?
Yes, most definitely. I have not even like known about them, and I was just, yeah, I definitely want to see what it's like inside. And then if we can even like get into touch with families, I think that would be great to really see like, kind of get their background and talk to them, and I think it'd just be a really good way to communicate and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I'm gonna write down that we're gonna do the habitat. Supervisor. All right. So now we have to talk about some objectives for our project. So the sheet says, make sure that your objectives are concrete and illustrate how this experience will be beneficial to your agency, community, and to you for your health sciences education. So how are we going to help out the community, and how are they going to help us out in return?
So how they would be helping out the community.
Mm-hmm.
If we're gonna do specifically like the restore, they're honestly providing like the community with a different alternative resources.
I think one thing maybe we could try and do, I'm just actually looking over the little brochure we got, and I don't know, maybe we could talk to Zach about this to get some hours maybe outside of the restore too, is like, I really never knew that they like took donations. Like, I guess you think of like donating clothes and stuff, but like you really don't think of donating appliances to like help upgrade someone else's home that needs it more than you do. Like, oh, I'm getting a new fridge. Let's just get rid of this old one, or store it out in the garage so it's out of the way. Like, when you could donate it to Habitat for someone else to use. So maybe find out some way to, I don't know, hold something at the mall with flyers or something. Because I just feel like I've never really known about donating appliances.
Maybe like do something about like an outreach program, maybe, so more people are aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because yeah, I totally did not ever think of like stuff like that ever being donated, and I don't think a lot of people realize it. And it's like a simple thing you could just do. Like you'd be getting stuff out of your house. Like
Right.
I'm sure like so many people are wanting to do stuff like that. And then like from us, like we'll get out of it, I guess. I don't know. I think like working in the restore will really see like what people really need or what they really like reach out for, what they're picking out most. I think that'll really give us some insight as to what people have a high demand for, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, I'm wondering if it's more like, they have fridges, or if they have like dishwashers or something, or if they have things like, doors or couches and flooring. I mean, I'd be interested to see what it is they get the most of and what goes out the door more.
Right.
I mean, I bet it depends on where you are, like what community your restore is located in. But we could see especially if we're going to try and do, or even if we can learn about some form of an outreach program. That way we know people know what they could be donating or what the higher demand is.
Yeah, I'm interested in what like people grab the most out of and what goes out the door.
I think for our health sciences education, that going back over those concepts that Greenleaf talked about, that acceptance and empathy, I think that's going to be something that we get out of this, because I mean, if the families are there when we're there, we're going to be learning about them, where they came from, things they like, things they don't like. I mean, just getting to spend time with them. And I think being aware of, if they're from, if they are coming from a refugee camp or something, just to learn more about that. And then as far as empathy goes, just to really understand what they've gone through. And I don't know that you can ever fully understand since we haven't experienced it, but to get just a better idea of the world outside of Des Moines.
And I think like as far as like our health, like how it'll influence our like healthcare field or whatever, I think like since we're going in like medical and stuff, like we're gonna be serving these people. We're gonna be serving so many different types of people. So like really understanding them and just like exposing yourself to that prior is just so important. So I think that's kind of how it will help you.
Okay. Okay.
And then what was like another objective we had mentioned? Because empathy and accepting, and then
we talked a little bit about awareness and perception.
Okay.
Just,
yeah.
Understanding that there is a need, and yeah, I think that was just a lot of it was, we don't really necessarily think about people, like homeless people in Des Moines, or just people who are struggling. I know, where I grew up, that wasn't really a big thing. So just something that you haven't really been exposed to, just you need to know that it does exist. There are people out there who are less fortunate that do need help, and we need to be able to find resources to help them.
Mm-hmm.
If that. One thing back to our acceptance and empathy talk was in that green leaf. I'm going to see if I can find it. I think, with picking habitat, one thing that we're really going to get to learn about with this is, that we're having acceptance, receiving what is offered, and empathy is the imaginative projection of one's own conscious onto another being. But it says the opposite of both is the word reject. So to refuse to hear or receive or to throw out. So I think that's something that after listening to them talk about habitat is going to be really important. That they're not, they're not trying to turn people down. They're basing it on who needs it the most. They're still going to try and find ways to be able to help more people. They said they're doing like 29 new builds this year. But on top of that, they're going to go do, X number of rock the blocks that they're going to help people renovate their house so they don't need to move. They don't need to they don't need to lose their house. But they're not trying to turn people away. Their goal is to help as many people as possible. I think that's one thing that's really important. Just that on top of just trying to help is that they're actually going out and doing something about it.
I think especially this year because that guy talked about how they were able to buy land over in that flooded district that happened back in, what was it, like 2011, how they were able to buy a whole block and like depending on funding and everything, we're planning on like building houses on an entire block this year.
Mm-hmm. I think that'd be a really cool time to go and work on a construction build to see that many volunteers everywhere helping. Like that'd be crazy.
Definitely.
All right, so we decided what we're gonna do. We're gonna check out the Restore. And if that's not available, we'll be in touch and go back over that again. But last I checked, it was still open. We did our objectives. So on the front of this paper, it says we need a brief summary of the proposed project. And I think I'm just going to write down the stuff from the Restore page right here. So that should be fine. Mm-hmm. What else do we talk about?
I guess really understanding what our organization is and how it started. I was like looking at their website, and it's crazy that there's like, well, basically it's a global nonprofit housing organization, and there's nearly 1,400 communities in the United States that they're serving, 70 countries in the world. So that's really crazy, but
that's a lot.
Mm-hmm. And so that's off of their like website and stuff, which was so informational. They have so much stuff on there. They really have like everything very laid out very well on the website and stuff, which I think is great.
Good, that'll be good. We should definitely try and read up a little bit before we go volunteer, so we have an idea of what their background is.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about this number page that did have the breakdown of the poverty level? Did you have any idea that, because he said that Riverbend used to be one of the most affluent communities in Des Moines. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, because it used to essentially be downtown more or less.
Mm-hmm. And now 40% of residents live below the poverty line. Mm-hmm. That's because this says there's 1,248 people that live in that community. That's a lot of people. Like, I grew up not very far from Des Moines, and I had no idea that there were that many people in a community that needed some more assistance.
I know, it's crazy. I did not realize that was, even that area was like the lowest poverty, like, and I've been like was born in Des Moines and stuff, so it's just like crazy.
Yeah, I had no idea. But I guess that's a good thing that there are organizations in that neighborhood to help.
Oh yeah, I thought that was. I was just like, it's so convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What other ones do we talk about? That's usually all of them. I think that we like the main ones that we talked about. But one thing I think you had said something earlier about connecting like the organizations together, because if if we've got the restore that does have recycled appliances, or if they do have cabinets or carpet or anything, and we went to St. Vincent de Paul that had that child watch room that needed new carpet, I wonder if there's any way that organizations can like cross over and work together. That'd be interesting to see if there's something that they can do to help each other out.
Right, because I was like thinking like they have to have carpet there,
Mm-hmm.
and would be getting it at like a reasonable price. Like I'm sure they would like be so willing to help out.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I mean, helping out other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm. And then what's it? Morvivek, he was talking about like he's like, yeah, you can even like do a fundraiser to raise money for the carpet, and you could use resources like if you wanted to do like he was talking about like something with walking tacos, which was really fun. And he was like, you could even get like resources from St. Paul to make them, and I was like, that's so brilliant. Like you can just use resources from somewhere else to help like another organization. And I thought that was just so cool because like I wouldn't have thought about that.
No.
Like I would have like you have to figure out how to raise money for the food now, and because it can be expensive.
But instead you're using both. I know, like that. He talked about that with our group too, and that's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder how many other organizations, like if they could all be together to do something like that.
Right. I'm like, I don't think they realize like that you can intertwine them so easily. So I thought that was just so cool how he brought that up because he was like, you really just have to kind of step out of your box. And I'm like, you really once you step out of your box, like it's crazy like the possibilities you can make. So, but that was interesting from that.
Well, it was kind of interesting to think about like how some of these different places do work together and then like still don't know things. Like we had that lady from the Catholic Health Initiative or whatever it was, and she like was talking about one of her programs and didn't know that St. Vincent had one that was like had already been like up and running, and it's like she was like literally talking like, oh, we should send our people here.
Because it was
like,
for that child watch.
It's like you guys need to collaborate. And like
so there has to be a way that like they can all be in touch with each other to help each other out. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure there is. There's some way it can be done.
Most definitely.
Maybe that can be someone else's project. Come up with a way that can happen. I think we should stick to the restore for now.
Right.
Did we leave anything else out that we were supposed to talk about or that we wanted to touch base on?
I don't know. After like the tour and stuff, I think like that really just helped to really ingrain in my head what we're supposed to be doing. Like I really feel like we know what to do now. And then just like reading up on them, like our specific organization, I think helps a lot too. but I don't know. I think things are making a lot more sense now. I think that makes sense.
I think so too.
Especially
I
with
think
the
this
reading.
helped getting to go over what we needed to talk about, come up with some ideas for. I mean, I know these are objectives, but I think as we go that they're gonna evolve into learning way more about just the people we're helping and what all we can do to help the community in other ways too. I think we'll learn a lot. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm too, honestly.
I think it'll be a pretty good time. But
Definitely.
I think that's all we got.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna turn this off then.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, hang on.